Nope, don't hear you yet. Nope. Let me. Hang on. No, the power strip isn't on. Hang on.
Hey, I'm Warren Byrom.
Sure.
My Canelands are fabled.
I got it. I got you now, Ed. Hi there. Okay.
chandelier.
Hello, one and all. Glad to have you with us for Red Barn Radio. I'm Bradford Becker. We continue in our 22nd season of Red Barn Radio, and we welcome you tonight to show number 842. Warren Byrom started exploring his writing craft 20 years ago or so when he studied English lit and poetry with celebrated authors Gurney Norman and poet Nikki Finney at the University of Kentucky. But he felt at that point in his life that he needed some travel and some work to put him in better touch with what he might like to address as an artist. Fast forward of 10 years found Warren immersed in the sounds of a city that breathes music, and New Orleans, which would be his home for several years, and his works as a musician and the experience he had there ended up having a profound impact upon him. It would be on a drive from his Kentucky home back to New Orleans that Warren would write what he calls the first song I wrote that felt real. Here now in Lexington, Kentucky in 2024, Warren is one of several key folks who keep the music fires burning in the city. Glad you're here with us for what I know will be a terrific evening of music and conversation with Warren Byrom and this talented group of players on stage with him. Welcome, Warren Byrom.
That first kite was made of newspaper and strung with fish line. I was lying next to it alone. Sunlight in the bright shape of a window, X'd once with the shadow of the sash, moved slowly across the floor toward me. A way had to be found to make it work. We were trying, all took place in the attic where the cat brought the bird. My mother was downstairs or out back in the cornfield with a gun. I didn't move. Who knew where my father was? Nothing ever worked. I kept my eyes closed whenever I thought I was asleep or flying. I woke when a light touched my feet. Perfect, still I didn't move. When it touched my eyes, I opened. Crosshairs were on my chest, breathing. Crosshairs were on my chest, breathing. Saw my heart and a cold wind rattled the kite.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
Cities fueled by a vibrant music scene often have a core group of players stoking the furnace. Players happy where they are as long as they're playing regularly. Players always involved in a variety of projects with a variety of musicians, and players who are available to mentor and support younger artists who are entering the scene. Warren is one such guy. Whether blowing his trumpet with the big maracas or bringing vocals and guitar to the stage with the swells or small batch, he's become a treasure in our town. When Lexingtonians are out and about, they're always pleased to find themselves where Warren and his merry band of buddies are setting the tone. He's here tonight with his friends, many familiar to Red Barn audiences. Cecilia Wright is here on cello, Tom Nato on the console steel, Scott Wilmoth on bass, and Wyatt Hines on drums. Welcome, Warren Byrom.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, thanks so much for having us. It's really great to be here. So that song was that first kite, the first song we did was a James Baker Hall poem that my friend Whit Baker had me put to music when he was making a documentary about James Baker Hall. So, yeah. This is The Fabled Canelands, which is, I performed under that name, used that name for the band for a while, and people had a hard time figuring out what I was saying or even reading it off emails, apparently. One marquee, I think a club we played at, it might have been Tidballs in Bowling Green, it said the Fancy Cane Lords performing Friday night. So, anyway, the Fabled Canelands refers to the history of Kentucky. The original Europeans who came down the Ohio River, the first Europeans that came were the French trappers and traders, and they referred to it as the Fabled Canelands because there were a huge area of native cane grass, kind of like bamboo, and it was just, kind of, there were like, buffalo roads and that kind of thing, but it was just sort of this, Eden of, Anyway, that was from a book called The Frontiersman that kind of inspired this song, The Fabled Canelands. 1, 2, 3. Travel east of the Caneland, the frontier south of the Ohio. The Cherokee and the Shawnee held a truce there to hunt the hallowed fertile ground. I believe it was enough for all. The preacher called it heaven on earth. Tomahawks and long rifles echo loud, the sound live that much away. I feel like a bat, and my signal ain't coming back. Just disappears out into the night. Don't learn too fast here in the Caneland. The big money machine puts nothing back. Go call the governor, call the president, see how long that's gonna last. While the poison washes over it all, and we just put on the painted bird. Life is a monster and fear runs wild. Can I hope just to die as a child? Shimmering back through 2 centuries, and that great forest fell on the central plateau. But like a witch, never again to be seen. While the poison washes over it all, on the painted bird. Life is a monster, fear runs wild. Can I hope just to die as a child? Tremolo. All right. One, two, three. Oh, sorry. Right feeling. Right feeling to have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lately, every time the car breaks down, I'm grateful to get my feet back on the ground. I make a little wish, every piece of broken glass, for time to slow down, but it keeps on moving fast. Sometimes it feels like something in me died, but then I want to hold on and enjoy the ride. I want to jump for joy what comes next. Bust into some boardrooms and wring some necks. Is this the right feeling to have? Is it the right feeling for these times? Right feeling to have? Is it the right feeling for these times? Endless traffic rushes towards the boiling seas, but we've all got our belts on for safety. If I think too much about it, man, it's such a mess. It's like the lights came on, everyone is gnawing on human flesh. Is this the right feeling to have? Is it the right feeling for these times? Walking in low tide on Heisler Beach. Then he strikes a pose. He said, come on and chase me. And when Benny shows us the way, we let go and we play. Is this the right feeling to have? Is it the right feeling for these times? Right feeling to have? Is it the right feeling for these times? Thanks. Thank you. This next one is a tune I wrote in Nova Scotia. My partner has a place up in Nova Scotia on a little island, and it's a nice place to write songs. Song written in Nova Scotia about somewhere much further south. I remember crossing Lake Pontchartrain, same direction in every lane, in a rearview mirror the hurricane straight into the blue. Country magic. Blue country magic. Country magic. Blue country magic. My eyes have been glued to the brink. I turn it off and I let it sink. And as my gray clouds shift to pink, I take a long walk with my love into the blue country magic. Blue country magic. Blue country magic. Country magic.
Man, I like that one, Warren.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, let's do it for a solid, really a solid hour on
We could jam that one out.
on the road the other day after you sent it to me. I just really like it a lot.
Cool,
Very
thank you.
cool sound, yeah. All right. Well, we're with Warren Byrom, and he's here with Cecilia Blair Wright, Tom Nato, Scott Wilmoth, and Wyatt Hines, who we've not met before. Welcome, Wyatt. Great to have you on the program. Yeah. Where'd you find Wyatt, Warren?
It's been a real pleasure playing with Wyatt, but he is the...
Maybe we could configure your mic a little bit that way so you can sort of look more this direction.
Yeah.
Could you turn it a little bit and then just scoot over a little bit? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. And then we'll get the guys to set it back where they want it.
So Wyatt,
Yeah.
I don't have a monitor, so I can't tell if I'm too close.
No,
Let me
that's
know.
great. You're good.
Scott has a friends Sarah and Randy, and Wyatt is their child, and it's been a pleasure playing with him the last couple of weeks, getting these songs together. So
Yeah, nice. And so Wyatt, Wyatt Wyatt doesn't have a mic. Wyatt, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to ask you a couple questions later on. Okay, we'll come back to that. Warren, so your bio really kind of starts us off at that point when you were at UK and you were studying English literature. And did I get that right?
Yeah.
You kind of reached a
I
point.
started out in like engineering, and that didn't quite fit my
Oh, really?
lifestyle, so I migrated towards music, and then English lit with Spanish minor almost.
Did you come from a mathy, sciencey family?
My dad is an engineer.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I did really enjoy the, like the survey classes I took in English lit, and the creative writing classes with Nikki Finney and Gurney Norman.
Yeah.
Those really helped me a lot. So
Yeah, and then so why don't we go backwards into some of the stuff that isn't covered in your bio that takes us to little younger Warren, like when you were back in elementary and middle school, really first sponging up the world around you. What kinds of memories do you have? That box kite song, I was imagining at some point that box kite song might have come from your childhood. But
no,
you
that
said-
was
right.
that was a James Baker Hall poem.
Yeah.
But it's so the image is so wonderful, and I can definitely relate to that. From my childhood, just that scene of finding this abandoned attic, and the just kind of experiencing just the way the light, being in this space long enough for the light to just kind of like move. It's almost like a time lapse or something, that poem. Like the light is moving across. That's kind of how I think of it. And then it like speeds up, which is sort of like a psychedelic experience. But I definitely feel like my childhood, the way my brain was wired, was definitely a psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
So-
So some of those sort of sensory images from your kidhood that you feel sort of play into your what you sort of arrived at as a music that you wanted to play. I don't mean like what you're playing today, but sort of
Sure, yeah, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, there's like definitely some sort of continuity,
Yeah.
between that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so when you think back to that time, were you already at that point demonstrating some kind of interest in expressing yourself musically? Were you a singing child? Were you a
was definitely
banging
not
on the table
no,
child?
I was definitely not a singing child. I was very quiet. I had a lot of stuff going on, and I was trying to just sort of stay out of the way. I have an older brother and sister, and I was happy to let them sort of like, have the center stage.
Uh-huh.
I was just trying to stay out of that chaos, and but I don't know. Music was sort of like one of my earliest coping tools, I guess. A way to cope with stress. And for me, the biggest memory is just Christmas music. Like. The tree with the lights and like bugging out, sitting in the living room with all the lights off except the lights on that tree, and Nat King Cole singing the Christmas song.
Yeah, right.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
I'm familiar with that song.
Yeah, so that was like, I really think Christmas songs were sort of like my first sort of immersion into just how it all worked, melody, harmonics, rhythm, the different instruments and chords and stuff. But
I love that. Yeah, and I think that's probably the case for. I
Lina
bet that's
hates-
the
she
case
hates
for a lot
Christmas
of
music.
folks. She does. Was it secular Christmas music in your household, or was there any kind of
we went
the
to a
manger
church.
and
We went to
shepherds and the
we
star and
went
stuff?
to the Presbyterian church, but it wasn't. That's not like. Yeah, it was just sort of like the pop.
Yeah.
Christmas records, Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, stuff like that.
Is that what made you want, later on in life decide you're going to throw together a Christmas album? Because I know you did that.
Oh, I'm sure that, my love for that stuff was a part of it. Yeah, we made a Christmas record. I think it was, did you play on that? I guess it was before all you guys, but definitely the easiest record I ever made. It was in 2011. Yeah, we did it in like 2 days. Cora Lee played on, she did Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
Ah, nice. Did you recruit a whole bunch of different people?
There was maybe like 10 of us.
Did you choose all the songs, or did you let other people in the ensemble
it was me and my friend James Eaton. He was my neighbor, and he had some basic recording stuff, and then there was a neighbor downstairs. I honestly forget his name, but he ended up sort of taking over engineering duties. But the whole thing was done in like 2 days, and then we printed up a bunch of copies and we're selling them and giving the money to Movable Feast.
Oh, right.
It was really fun.
Ah, good. What about New Orleans? Can you tell the New Orleans story, because that just sounds kind of magical to me. It sounds like you kind of put yourself out on a limb. It sounds like you probably went into a place where you felt like you were vulnerable, that was going to push you, and you dealt without friends that you were typically with. And
yeah, I mean, I met Lisa Driscoll. We became friends in the mid '90s, and then she was kind of like a muse for me and a lot of people, and also just schooled lots of different young generations of street musicians on songs and just that lifestyle, busking on the street. And I played with her in some clubs. We played Checkpoint Charlie's every Monday night for about a year and a half. But she was the one, I met her oddly enough in the Blueberry Barrens doing migrant labor. She was with a guy. She was not doing migrant labor, mind you, but she was there. I met her and heard her play and sing there, and really wanted to go to New Orleans. That's where she was living at the time. And I don't know, the first time I went to New Orleans, there was just such a complete spell cast on me between, her music and there was, it's a city full of all different kinds of music, the brass band and, right. the buskers doing, some buskers would do like trad jazz and some would do, their own songs, and there were like kind of more ragtime players, lots of original music, bands doing original music, just everything, and it's, right there on the river. It's
right.
It's an incredible city.
And so when you went down there, did you bring, did you pretty much plan to flex your trumpet down there? Was that sort of the game plan?
I mean, that was probably the easiest instrument to play down there. I've never really had the trumpet together. I mean, I love playing it. It's sort of a love-hate relationship, but yeah, I mean, I did some trumpet. She wanted me. She had an incredible guitar player, Roberto Luti, an Italian guitarist. But she wanted a trumpet. She's like, "Oh, bring your horn down and play." And the harmonica player wasn't quite as psyched about trumpet playing as she was, but I played guitar. I had played some regular gigs with friends down there doing guitar, and it was in New Orleans where I really started getting the performance aspect of it together, and being able to put song and voice together.
Yeah.
So.
I
did a lot of that too.
Yeah. What about the comfort of being on stage? You said you were kind of an anxious kid. At what point in time did you feel like you were able to kind of shake that and do the kind of work you do, which is perform and entertain?
Well, I guess like when I came to UK, when I was going to school, I met some people. My friend Gordon, who just passed, he really pulled me out of my shell. Just super inspiring. Chris Sullivan, I met around that same time. There was a group of people that were just kind of blew my mind with how fearless they were with pursuing whatever they wanted, and kind of, like musically, but also just like how, their horizons were so broad, and it was really just the cosmos was their horizons. It was just like everything was in there, and I was. So that was a revelation to me, and they were both really encouraging. That a lot of my friend Opal, we had a band called Skillet back then, kind of an art punk band. But yeah, it was a lot of people kind of encouraged me to come out of my shell and and do that. And of course, drugs and alcohol helped for a while until they stopped helping. But
do you feel like, having had that experience yourself of having had mentors who sort of recognized your need to maybe open up and take a chance, has that sort of helped you to zero in on younger players where you see with the same sort of sensibilities who are maybe a little bit afraid and need to be encouraged? Are you able to do that for others?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wyatt's like 20 years old, but I feel like in a lot of ways he's older than I am, like in terms of like life experience and stuff. So I don't know. I don't really think about age differences like that so much, because I had a lot of friends during that formative period for me who were older, and it wasn't really discussed that much. Like, I had friends that were, in their 50s and 60s. I have friends in their, 70s and 80s and 90s now, so it's just.
Well, I was hearing from Wyatt earlier on that he said he's really having a great time. Feels like this is a great place for him to learn and feel a part of things. So
Cool.
Whether you realize it or not, you're doing it, Warren. What others did for you. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, we're with Warren Byrom, and we've got some more music for you. So let's get back to it. Welcome back, Warren Byrom.
This is a song that, oh yeah, thank you. My friend Whit Baker took me on a trip to his cousin Thor's house. We thought we were going to be just spending Christmas jamming and eating Christmas cookies, and we ended up on Christmas Eve about 3 hours away from there. That was in Corbin, and we ended up on the top of Black Mountain after a long ATV convoy in the sleet. And me and this kid from Missouri rescued a dog that had been gone for 5 days. And I wrote this song a few months after that. When I lost my dog, it wrecked my soul. Tell me how deep and dark to go, chasing my dreams inside a hole. You ever spend a night alone inside Black Mountain? It might still love, you might still land. When you're down in that hole, just reach out your hand. Let the high, lonesome sound of a lost dog guide you home. Black Mountain rise so high above the valley. Black Mountain where the laurel grows so fair. Black Mountain dogs, they wanna run free, chasing that scent through the snowy pine tree. Lead on deep inside Black Mountain. I was living in a cave inside my mind when the universe called, said now's the time. Listen for the dogs and stop your crying. 7 counties on down the road to Black Mountain. I was feeling real small, living for the end. Now just listen for man's best friend. We all get lost and we never know when. A trail will lead us deep inside Black Mountain. Black Mountain rise so high above the valley. Black Mountain where the laurel grows so fair. Black Mountain dogs wanna run free, chase that scent through the snowy pine tree. Lead on deep inside Black Mountain. This next song, let's see, Be a Woman. It's a ballad of Ann Lee. It's also titled on, it's on my first vinyl record that came out last summer, Dreaming the Sun. And that has one of James Baker Hall's photographs on it. And I wrote this after reading one of Eric Ries's essays about the Shaker community, and Ann Lee was the founder of the Shaker community. And didn't think Jesus could ever be a woman. So they tied Ann Lee to the back of a wagon by her heel, drug her through the icy dark roads for just enough miles to break ahead, tear off her clothes. Didn't think a mountain could ever be a woman. Maybe an adventure or a good paying job. Beverly May dug deep and found a way with love, courage, and imagination. Russians call. And Lee said every force evolves a form. Well, there's a white male power clown frothing at the podium. And Lee saw wheels inside of a wheel. Be a woman, be a woman, be a woman. The Shakers worked heaven, place they call Pleasant Hill. Be a woman, be a woman, be a woman. Flowing to the quiet mind where faithful soul can find union trees still grow. Flowing to the quiet mind where faithful soul can find the union trees still grow. Let's see, Sidewalk. So this next song, Sidewalk Queens, was inspired by my friend Lisa. Great guitar player, ragtime guitar player and washboard player, blues singer. She passed a few years ago. Who are these too good to stand around my fire, trying to preach some voodoo vodka in a styrofoam cup? when I'm all full up right now. There's only so many times that a man can bend over. That woman got a music, she'll make you hand over the key. Sing it, baby, please. Canadian mist and that hot black chicory coffee woke up what the wine put to bed. Jesse Mayhem pill, songs at the kitchen table. Here you take the mic, I can't wait for what your mouth will say. Don't mind me, I wasn't really singing anyway. I'm working here, they say I'm working here, down in the old city. Wrought iron and the fluid to me, way down in New Orleans, down at the Sidewalk Queen. I always knew if you would open up a dream to me, your beautiful mind would water sun-baked scenery in this alligator town, where the sidewalks sing. People lay with dogs, taking baths in the evening, candles on the sink. It's cooler here at night by a couple of degrees. Smell that sweet olive breeze. Now we're hunkered down in a brown van, Mississippi moaning, community, yeah, but you know there's no going back home. All we have are these cell phones. We're still singing in the pine, green bottles of red, red wine, and in the old city, wrought iron and the fluid to lean, way down in New Orleans, down with the Sidewalk King. Now we're out here on the street, just trying to make a dollar, while Stoney and Grandpa echo old call and response. Already played that song once a day. Kick off your shoes, be careful that dress, them old blues hurt good. Crying hurts the best when old lovers become tourists in the land of the heart. Not too hot, too cool. Man, what did they do to me? They came from the bureau, rolled up the welcome mat and tore down my home. He said, you better get on that plane. Now she toes a thimble, corrugated rhythm. She's my washboard queen. She'll either play rhythm or she won't have a band. No, she won't have a band. Down in the old city, wrought iron and the fluid to lean, way down in New Orleans, down with the Sidewalk Queen, in the old city, wrought iron and the fluid to lean, way down in New Orleans, down there with the Sidewalk Queen.
Hey, Warren, let me take a look at your set list for a second. Did you sub anything in there for Battery of Souls?
Well, we have a new song. No, there's still 12 songs.
Okay, why don't we
There was 13 with battery.
why don't we move 10? Why don't we move 10 down to after the second interview? Okay, can we do that? So it'll go Prayer Street and then Joy Dogs.
Prayer, yeah, it's pronounced Prayer Street.
Prayer Street, gotcha. I was trying to be French.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we'll do just two after my exciting announcements right here. These are those announcements. We've got lots more music and conversation with Warren Byrom, but I'd like to just take one moment to remind listeners that Red Barn live streams, both tonight's and on any Wednesday, remain available online for you to view at your convenience, along with our audio stream, compliments of WGAD.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of our program. Be sure to tell your friends and share what it is that you like about Red Barn Radio, why you come week after week. Red Barn Radio live stream is dark next week, January 14th, but that doesn't mean we won't be back. We return January 24th with Jacob Perez. Jacob Perez is a songwriter living in Cincinnati, Ohio. And just like Warren, the traveling he did, the different places he lived in the country, impacted and informed his voice and his songwriting. The COVID-19 pandemic found Jacob furloughed from his day job, and this season of extra time proved really fruitful for him. The batch of songs that he wrote during that time became the core of his debut record, Get Well, released in March of 2022. He's got an earthy and contemplative Americana sound, and he kept that going in 2023. He released Signs. He's going to be touring with songs from that album this year, and on our next program, he'll wet your whistle with a solo set here on the Red Barn Radio stage. So join us for Jacob Perez on January 14 in studio and on Red Barn Radio's live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. Now back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the great city of Lexington, Kentucky, and this great space called Arts Place Performance Hall. Welcome back, Warren Byrom.
So we're going to play them in the order that they're on the list.
Yeah, same order, but we'll just do two now, and then we'll do our
Okay.
interview, okay?
All right. All right. This is called Answer the Foam, and it's the central image to this song is me driving however many hours to the nearest beach, ocean beach, and taking my phone out and hurling it as far into the surf as I can, and then just tearing off my clothes and having a dance party. One, two, 3, 4.
The sea and the wind
answer the phone, answer the phone. It's time to twist out of your mind. See, and the swell smash all of your shell. The sea and the wind and all your naked land. Answer the phone, 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 answer the phone. Old Machine. All right. Let's see. This one was inspired. This is one of the older songs that I've written, one of the oldest ones. Inspired by a CD player that you had to slap on the side just right to get it to play the song. Saw you out the other night, trying to tell your stories, but the words didn't seem to come out right. Hey, just try sticking to the fact. There was a station, there was a train, but the train went off the track. Left you standing, counting cars, and never bring you back to the one in love. Back to the one in love. I heard this melody for years, never found a reason or rhyme, but this time the words came through so clear. Love to hear you sing when you sang that old Carter family song, the one about your blue-eyed boy. He stayed gone too long. poses half the time. I've been trying to fake it out. I come home alone late at night, and there's nothing I want more to hear my own records and dance myself across the floor while I move to the ones I love. Move to the ones I love. Move and slide in love. Move to the ones I love.
All right. You want to walk that mic up for me? Thanks.
Love that.
Hey, yeah, that's just beautiful. Warren, these are beautiful songs.
Thank you.
Yeah. While we're setting up a microphone for Tom there, we're setting him up conveniently so he can stay comfortable back there in his little kingdom, his little steel kingdom. Warren, I wonder if you wouldn't mind introducing Tom.
Tom Nadeau, he's been playing steel all night and played that fabulous outro part on Old Machine, which is also my favorite part on my second record. He played steel on that song, which is just kind of like a solo version of it. And he just split, I don't know, the first thing to say about Tom is just, he's just an incredible musician and the kindest person. I mean, just like, anyway, I love Tom. But he comes up with these parts in the studio, they're just like, oh man, just incredible. And with that, here's Tom Nadeau.
All right. Tom, there you are.
Here I am.
Hi, Tom.
Hello.
So today, and this happens every Wednesday at work, people are like, well, so who's going to be on the show tonight? And then I will tell them, and then the next question, of course, is, well, like, what kind of music? Like, what is it? And so I'm always struggling, week after week to come up with the right words. I got tired of saying Americana.
Cosmic Americana.
Right. I got tired of that answer, and so germane to that problem is a question, Tom, that I want to ask you. Here you play an instrument that is, almost always associated with a particular genre of music, and I've been thinking a lot about the state of Americana, where it is. I wonder, from your vantage point as a person who spends a lot of time in the studio, are you starting to see it kind of plateauing a little bit? Are you seeing people coming into the studio wanting to experiment a little bit more with sort of the conventions of Americana, whatever those are?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that people now are getting a little more into the sonic side of things in a way. Like, I feel like when you talk about this broad sort of spectrum, Americana and all the quotes, the traditional version of it is like, everything is there it is. Everything sounds like what it is. And I feel like there's just been a lot of really creative people in the genre. And it's such an undefinable term right now that, like, what do you call, you call Americana and all these different people. And you're like, I don't know. I didn't even know what that word means other than, it's a songwriter-based music. But it's definitely true now that I think that the ability to sort of experiment and think outside the box and, make all these sort of twinkly sounds and pretty sonics and, bleeps and bloops that I really enjoy making.
Yeah.
I find that songwriters are more open to that now, just because they're hearing more of it, and sort of we're getting into this really wonderful spot where, we get to combine the production with the songs too, and make the production say as much as the music or as the songs itself does.
Yeah. And so I guess I'm wondering for you as a pedal steel player, are you finding that you're having more opportunities to sort of stretch out yourself as a player and sort of get past the old sort of, I don't know, I hate to call them cliche because they're the most beautiful cliches there are, the lines played on a pedal steel, but is it kind of liberating for you to feel like you can be part of music that wants to get something else, a different kind of voice and texture out of that instrument?
Well, I sort of think that anybody who's ever hired me is probably going to get that anyway, because I'm not like a super choppy player, or, I'm not like a shredder, and it's never really interested me. I've always been interested in more like a Jerry Garcia or a Dan Lanois, especially approach to it, where it's a real, you have this beautiful little, I think he calls it his church in a box, and I think that's such a beautiful description of it. So, I can press some pedals and make some noises, and that's just kind of, that's sort of the thing I've always done in some way, shape, or form with it. I think a lot of steel players would say I mistreat it, but treat it as this really wonderful instrument with all these really cool, interesting noises that you can make, as opposed to sort of the strict traditional playing, which is of course beautiful and wonderful, and I love it as much as anyone else.
Well, I love the sort of ambient pedal steel stuff that Lanois does, and I wonder, have you ever thought about doing an album, or maybe you already have done an album like that, or is that something that could be in the works for you down the road?
If I found myself with enough time by myself in the studio, I would do it. So I guess that's probably a threat that people should keep calling me and hiring me, because otherwise that's something I'll do. But in some ways, I feel like I kind of sneak. I sort of feel like there's a hidden solo record on every record that I make. Really, just covered with a bunch of other people's really wonderful songs and other things.
We were wondering when me and Cecilia were sitting in the boardroom earlier, and we heard you playing this beautiful ambient.
Oh yeah,
I was listening to that too.
Ringing out through the halls here. Wondered if you had done an ambient record, but like a meditation record, kind of like what's the another green, like Brian Eno.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Obviously a huge Eno fan.
Yeah.
Music for gymnasiums.
There we go. Music for gymnasiums. We'll make it right here.
To be in one. That's right. Well, if I was asked to count on two hands the number of times that you've been mentioned on this program, Tom, I wouldn't be able to, because I would need many more hands, and I would even have to use my feet too. But so many people in this community have benefited so much from the sort of care that you give to their music and the color and feeling that you bring to it, and we have just always appreciated you here, and
So true.
I'm
Absolutely.
really glad that you can be part of what we do here. So
It was very sort of happy accident. Chris has been playing when I do solo stuff. When I do my thing, Chris has been playing. But
Chris Sullivan,
he went on a ski trip, and so I was like, oh, well, maybe
I never
Tom
thought
can
of
do
him
it.
as a skier. I don't know why.
His brother's obsessed with skiing.
Oh,
so
really?
he took him on this trip. But was really glad it worked out this way. I really missed playing with Tom. So.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Warren, if you wouldn't mind, could you introduce Cecilia Blair Wright, who is up here on front stage playing the beautiful cello?
Yes, but first, let me let me address Wyatt.
Oh, please do. Yeah,
And
thanks.
So, Wyatt, how do you feel about the steel guitar?
So Wyatt's going to need to be at a mic in order for anybody to hear what he says. So
You said that you were afraid of stringed instruments, and I just
Yes.
wonder if
oh,
would you be even more with the steel guitar must be just terrifying, because I mean I'm afraid of the steel guitar.
It stays still, which is nice. It doesn't
It's
move
a-
with me, you know.
We've been also spending a lot of time talking about the fact that Wyatt looks like a young Nick Cage from Moonstruck.
He's moonstruck.
I'll agree with that.
So
I
that's
didn't
been
think
really really
that joke would
exciting.
make it this far.
Wyatt, is that as far as you're going to go with that, with your response to that question? When we went to all the trouble of bringing the mic back to you, you're going to
Yes.
need to go into a little more depth about how you
Oh,
feel.
Damn.
Hey, Wyatt, we won't put you on the spot. Tell us about your training and how you became a drummer to that mic. Yeah.
My dad had me playing White Stripes and AC/DC Nirvana songs so he could play guitar over a drum beat live. And he got me just to play this rock beat, and I hated it until it kind of clicked, where I kind of did it right for one measure, and I was like, I want to be a drummer. And
How old were you then?
probably 7th, 8th grade, and I
Oh,
didn't
wow.
I took like a year hiatus, and just didn't touch drums, and then I met this fantastic drummer, Dave Ferris, in Lexington. He's a bad man, and he showed me all these like simple funk grooves from James Brown records I would have never listened to, and seeing how he played drums and how different it was from like a basic quarter note beat, it blew my mind. And I got into a band called Galactic. The Meters study like New Orleans funk drums.
Good.
And then that's about it.
Boy, that's some good schooling right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you got the little trap. You like working with the little trap set. Is that always what you want to do?
Oh, usually it's just bass, snare, hi-hat, but it's a weird kit. I like big cymbals, small drums.
All right. Me too.
Great.
Me too. It's a beautiful sound.
Thank you.
Yeah, go in there. Yeah. And great to meet you and welcome.
Thank you.
Anyway, yes.
yes,
me and
Cecilia
Ci-
Blair Wright.
So when did we first meet?
Here in Lexington.
Yeah, we met here in Lexington when I guess right before you got married to Josh, and then we don't have to talk about that. But anyway, then we started playing together. Not too long after that.
Well, I was working at the co-op, and you would come through, and I was always kind of. I had no one to play with when I first moved here, so you kept coming through, and I had heard your music, and I loved it, and I know I bugged you from time to time, like, hey, if you ever need some cello, and I think at a point you were like, yeah, let's get together and see what happens. So.
Yeah, I hadn't really been playing much, and then I remember getting together, and because we didn't do. I can't even remember if we did like full band stuff, but it wasn't long before we were doing. We did a lot. Like the last few years, we did a lot of just duo stuff, like, just me and Cecilia, and it was nice playing the songs just with that much space. And I guess you would do like some bass, but mostly it was just like, with the harmonies and. Just parts that you'd come up with on the cello. It was kind of amazing that it worked just that pared down. But I thought it sounded great.
Well, I'm just amazed that the two of you would be able to take time off as being owners of the co-op, that you would be able to take time off Cecilia, I wonder if you could tell us this. When you decided to become a cellist, to devote yourself to that instrument, had you always sort of imagined primarily playing classical music, or right off the bat did you start to think, no, there are people like Ben Soley and others around who are doing cool things. I want.
Yeah, it's funny you bring him
that.
up because I actually got him to come down to UT and give a little talk when I was there. And I came up here when I was in college and studied with him a little bit. And I was studying classical music at UT, and it was great, but what I got most excited about were the times that I was collaborating with songwriters and coming up with my own parts, and just the community around that. That felt really warm and it felt exciting, and so I was very grateful to have, my classical studies, and I studied jazz a little bit at UT also. So I learned a lot. I'm very grateful for that time, but I was also getting together with a lot of different bands, a lot of different songwriters, and that always felt really special to contribute something to original music. And the cello is a little unexpected for some people, so it felt good to like show up to the bar and people were like, what is that instrument? And it felt good to be able to contribute something a little bit different to these stories and original music, and to be a part of a different kind of music community.
Yeah. Have you also played orchestras?
I was in the UT orchestra. So
and did you like that too?
Yeah, I did like that. Yeah, and I like chamber music, and I did small jazz ensembles too, and so I like all of it, but I do love playing with songwriters, and I love the friendships that come out of it. It's like Warren and I have become really good friends. He's like a brother at this point, and so there's nothing that beats that.
Yeah, right. That is great.
Yeah.
And you have, so is music your avocation then, since you also do other things? You're also
well, so I got my
right?
master's degree in music therapy here at UK.
Okay.
So for the past about 5 years now, I've been working as a music therapist. I'm in Knoxville now, and I'm still working, doing music therapy groups in the community. And so I kind of balance performing with my work as a music therapist, and then I do a podcast for the Tennessee Theater. So I kind of have a lot of different music-related jobs happening at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I kind of want to ask you a question about being a musical therapist that won't make you roll your eyes. I know not everybody in your field is a musician, just like I guess all physical therapists aren't physically fit or something. I don't know what you could compare the two, but so I wonder, do you feel that it's been important for you as a musical therapist to have that strong background in music, or is it sort of inconsequential?
Well, as a music therapist, I'm expected to use live music. So all music therapists have training in music and use live music. So that's part of our training. But getting out and performing and having something completely separate, it feeds something a little bit different for me, and it's something that keeps me motivated, and it also just keeps me connected to people I care about. Like I'm driving up here and I'm playing music with my friends, so it keeps me, it kind of like nurtures me, and that makes my work doing music therapy, I don't know, it gives me a little bit of energy for that, because that is wonderful and amazing, and it can also be emotionally challenging too.
I bet. Have you worked much with folks with various dementias?
Yeah,
Much
so I do groups
in
with
music?
people
Yeah.
with dementia. I have a Parkinson's group, and then I also have a group for people in recovery from substance use disorders, and that is sponsored by Hope in the Hills, which puts on Healing Appalachia, a yearly music
Yes,
festival in
right.
West Virginia. So
Right.
they're sponsoring some of the work I'm doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great work.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and thanks for what you brought tonight. All right, we are going to get back to some more music now with Warren Byrom and the band.
I wanted to add also. I don't know if Scott wanted to talk much, but it's nice. Shaking of head. I've been playing with Scott for many years in different bands, Swells and Big Maracas, and my thing too, and we haven't really got to record that much, so I'm really excited about being on this recording with Scott, because I love his playing, and he's probably the most solid bass player that I've played with.
And if it wasn't for Scott, Wyatt wouldn't be here. Right?
And if it wasn't for Scott, Wyatt wouldn't be here.
All right.
So, but Wyatt's not really playing on this song. Oh, well, you play whatever you want. So this next one is a song, another song for my friend Lisa. And when she first got diagnosed, I was calling her, and one time I called her to check in, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I moved to a new house, and it's on Prayer Street." They pronounce it's Prieur. Looks like French, but in New Orleans they pronounce it prayer. And she said, "Yeah, I moved to this house on Prayer Street. It's between art and music." It's like, "Oh, you're on prayer between art, and you're living on prayer between art and music." Like, that sounds like a song right there. So, anyway, this is for Lisa. Do me a favor when you're down there on Prayer Street, and have a good look around. Up St. Rock, between art and music, tell me if you hear the sound. Passion flowers growing out of a soundboard, and trailing up around the front door. Christmas lights and tuning wrenches, guitar amps on the floor. The only stage I need is my kitchen table, some whiskey and cigarettes. I heard a pork chop say at the Blues Ladies Cafe, I'm the patron saint of dogs. We're taking a bath with Zora Neale Hurston. These mud balls are gonna glitter and hum. When you die, you might have to quit smoking, but you can share my body somehow. Get on the parkway till it's nothing but trees, rhododendron and sandstone. Lay me down in some peaceful valley underneath the Om Dome. Do me a favor when you're down there on Prayer Street, have a good look around. Up St. Rock, between art and music, tell me if you hear the sound. If you're lucky, you'll hear the sound. This next one is a collaboration between me and Mary Ann Taylor Hall. She basically just let me sort of cut and paste some of her lines from her poem Joy Dogs. To the fall again, it was just you and me. What it was we missed, the slanted light comes back to speak. Long light longing, just ahead of time, touching spires of firestalk, the dragonfly sun on its wings on a rock, and a breeze, gentle living air. The world is on fire, now your lungs are too. You're listening to Fats Domino, play My Blue Heaven on the radio. Yeah, but we're out of history now. Got no history. We got is a little white light and a turn to the right. All we got is this one step, one step, one step, and then another. Down at the creek, your cow's a big black bone at home on the mud and flat rock. You pry it up with a sock. You carry it like water. You carry it in your mouth like water. Carry it up through those fields of light, up through those fields of light, through which your life is rolled, life is rolled. Your life is rolled, and you're running with the joy dogs. You go running with the joy dogs. Now you're running with the joy dogs. Running joy dogs, they lick themselves and stretch. Now scent comes to them on the wind. Now they're barking maniacal gladness. Little squirrels and rabbits, little things to chase and kill. Chase and kill. But these days we've been running, Benny and the decks. You take it easy, greasy, whatever comes next. Who doesn't wonder at the edges in the seams, when the whites of their eyes are rolling in dark dreams? Run to the shade when it's hot, fire when it's cold. Wild when we're young, so far when we're old. We were running with the joy dogs. Now we're running with the joy dogs. We go running with the joy dogs. Running free. Joy dog, running with the joy dog. Now we're running with the joy dog. You and me. Joy Dogs. Thank you.
Well, there are so many people to thank for our program. First, Warren Byrom and his band, our guests this evening. We're ever grateful for our volunteers and staff who make our production happen each and every week. We want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on social media, and those listening to us on the network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, Central and Eastern Kentucky's radio news leader. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU. That's NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. WEKU.org. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests and our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Hey, and while you're on the website, take a moment to follow a couple of simple prompts to get yourself signed up for our weekly newsletter. You can also email news@redbarnradio.com. It's a simple way for you to keep up with what's happening on Red Barn Radio from week to week. And now, before we close out tonight's program, let's bring back Warren Byrom and his band. What are you going to play, Warren?
This is a new song. This is one I wrote for my friend Gordon, who just passed recently. Gordon Gildersleeve. He was an incredible force of nature, incredibly kind-hearted, big-hearted, just brilliant, like wild, cosmic-brained artist. It's called I'm Home. One, two, three, four. I'm home where the stones lead to the door. I'm home, I just couldn't ask for more. I'm home, my window faces east. Home, maybe now I'll have some peace. Friends, let all that bad air out. Home, that's my happy, quiet shout. I'm home, I used to love to cook right over there. Home, have a seat in my favorite chair. Never gonna leave, never leave, never gonna leave, never gonna leave home again. Never gonna leave, never leave, never gonna leave, never gonna leave home, home, home. I'm home, that's my cactus on the porch. Home, they carried me in here on a board. Home, give me 10 good fighting ants, and I swear I'll get up out of this bed and dance. Home, that's my writing on the wall. White hot visions and tears of love for all. Home, and it feels so good to jam. Home, remember castles made of sand. Never, never leave, never gonna leave, no one never leave, never gonna leave home again. Never gonna leave, no one never leave, never gonna leave, never, never leave home. Home. Thanks, you guys.
Well, that's all for our show for this week. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archive performances on Patreon, Spotify, iTunes, and whatever your favorite streaming platform is. Hey, remember, every like, comment, share, and subscribe helps bring roots music, Southern style to your neck of the woods. And now, from all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, keep close, be safe, and be healthy. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Red Barn Radio. Good night.